One Doctor gives you national prefixed prices with no call-out or overtime charges 24 hours, 365 days a year. Drain Doctor. Emergency plumbing and drainage. As quick as a wink. The Doctor will see you now.
Drain Doctor, proud sponsors of How to Start Your Own Business.
Hello and welcome to the latest episode of How to Start Your Own Business. In today's programme we'll be learning more about franchising from the BFA and visiting another two of their accredited members to see exactly what a day in the life of a franchisee might entail. Before we head off to the Creation Station, Brian Smart, Director General of the British Franchise Association, explains what a potential franchisee should look for when seeking a franchise opportunity.
A potential franchisee should look for openness in the franchisor that they're beginning to talk to, that there isn't any sense that there are things hidden. The franchisor will need to make sure that you're a serious prospect for the business. They're not going to tell you everything all on day one just because you've made an inquiry. You might, for example, be a competitor. They want to make sure that you're a serious contender for one of their franchises. You should get the impression as a prospect that the franchisor is just as cautious about you as you should be about the franchisor. They will want to know a great deal about you because their interest is in making sure that you can succeed as one of their franchisees. They're only going to make money out of you if you do succeed, unless it's a bad franchise, in which case they won't be at all interested in who you are as a person. They will only be interested in whether you've got the money, and their interest will be in extracting it from you as quickly as possible. As soon as you get that feeling, you should realise immediately this is not a serious franchise, because a serious franchise will be very cautious about you as a prospect, will want to know all about you, what you've done before, how you've got on with that, what your potential is, what your aptitudes are, what your interests are, what your family circumstances are. They will want to be sure that your partner, if you have one, is going to be supportive. They'll want to be sure that what you're telling them about the money you've got is true, that it's not by 17 different borrowings from 13 rather dodgy high street money lenders. They want to make sure that you've got the proper financial background to be able to run this business properly. So caution should be the feeling that you get through the whole process, not an eager desire to take money out of your back pocket as quickly as possible.
The Creation Station is a franchise that runs arts and crafts events and workshops for families and children. We recently met with Sarah Cressall.
I'm Sarah Cressall. I'm founder of the Creation Station, where we inspire children's imaginations. And we do that through arts and crafts, classes, parties and events across the UK. And we have over 50 franchisees who are out there delivering our brand and our passion about inspiring children's imaginations. When I first started looking at franchising, I went and did a lot of research with the BFA. And they are the kite mark for ethical, fair and transparent franchising. And they were the values that I had. Anything I was going to do was going to have that same value and ethos. So it's fantastic that there is an organisation out there that are the kite mark and the standard for ensuring that franchising is and continues to maintain those ethical values. When I look at the business now, the value of an established brand means that one, it's reassuring, it's trustworthy, it's got values, and it can be delivered on so many levels to so many people by fantastic and really highly motivated franchise owners. We awarded the first franchise at arm's length distance. It was about 50 miles away, and she ran the business. And that really gave me the confidence that actually, yes, these systems are working. She's getting out of it what she needs. And then we ran a second franchise. And throughout the whole journey of franchising, it's amazing, our franchise owners have a lot of good ideas as well. And as the business changes and the climate changes and marketing and social media, being on top of those, being at the forefront of that, means that we can put those systems in place to support our franchise owners.
I'd always wanted to do something on my own. I didn't have the confidence to actually go out there and do it, you know, sort of without any support. So the idea of the Creation Station was fantastic, because it's like I can be my own boss, but I've got the support there if I need it. My family were really sceptical about it all, so I had to kind of cut down those barriers first and say, no, I know what I'm doing. And so, also it was important to me, one of the things that really made me feel like it was right was that it was becoming part of the British Franchise Association, and that made me feel better about things, really, because I knew that they wouldn't just be a member, and they wouldn't have just got to be a member just like that they would have to prove these things. So it was very important to me.
I emailed Sarah and we had a good long chat for about 2 hours, I think. And Sarah invited us down for Discovery Morning, of which my whole family took a trip down. We watched the Discovery Morning, had a chat with some of the parents, then went back and had a chat with Sarah, asked all the questions we needed to ask, facts, figures, etc. And then waited for Sarah to give us a call to say whether I'd been awarded a franchise or not.
I researched quite a number of franchises. The Creation Station was actually the first franchise opportunity that I contacted, and they rang me back within half an hour and had a lovely long chat. And whilst I did speak to about 3 or 4 other franchisors and found out a lot about those businesses as well, it was really the Creation Station that stood out for me. From when I was awarded the franchise, I began with 1 class a week and have built that up. I've kind of settled now at around about 6 classes a week, and party business has grown really well. I was very lucky actually that it started off very strongly in my area, and I'm now starting to look into other areas for regular classes in particular, such as children and family centres.
We understand when somebody starts a franchise, they don't necessarily have any business experience. So what we do is we provide the knowledge, the confidence and the skills to help them achieve the success that they want. One of the biggest things franchise owners ask us is, can you help us with our marketing? During the first 3 months we have regular conference calls, a lot of hand-holding because it's all new, and we realise that people might be feeling a bit nervous, so we're right there on that journey, and we're also there to support people with their marketing, their own personal planning to achieve the success that they want. I'm really delighted that we've just won the Best Franchise Marketing Support Award at the National Franchise Exhibition, affiliated with the BFA, for all of the support that we put in place for our franchise owners.
One of the things that I really liked about the Creation Station when I was awarded the franchise was that the session plans, they're all written for you, so there's no at the weekend thinking what I'm going to teach next week, which was what I was doing before at the college, so that was fantastic.
From day one, we've had 110%, if not more, of support from Sarah. With the bigger events that we may need help from head office, we need proposals writing or tenders, they help us support and write those and develop those with us.
I enjoy pretty much every aspect of running my own franchise with the Creation Station. I absolutely love inspiring children's imaginations, and that is what we're here for. To see children happy and messy is just great fun. To see mums, dads, granddad, parents, carers, whoever is with the children, having a great time and getting messy as well. That's what does it for me.
Well, it's an opportunity for them to really kind of do messy play, try things that perhaps you wouldn't try at home.
It's been so easy for me. I've literally just been able to sit, watch the children enjoying themselves, have a cup of tea. It's all been organised and it's just been so much fun.
If you're dreaming of running your own business, I suggest that you do your research, talk to people and get some advice from your loved ones and people around you, and then do and then make the right decision for you, because ultimately it'll be you that's running the business. We've made the cost of a Creation Station franchise very accessible because we have 3 different entry levels. We have a mini franchise, which starts at $5,995 plus VAT. Then we have a standard, which is $8,995 plus VAT. And then the premium, which is $10,995 plus VAT. People also need £2,000 for their tools and equipment.
There are some challenges to face when you're running your own franchise, and I would say that you need to make sure that you're able to prioritise your workload, that you're able to manage your own time effectively. It's very, very easy to get either sidetracked or pulled into one particular aspect, and actually you've got to be all things to yourself. You are your own boss and you're responsible for the success of your business. And also making sure that you know how to manage your cash flow, manage your money as well, that you're carrying the right sorts of levels of stock, that you're buying the right things at the right time, and obviously managing your income as well.
Although we're not handheld all the way, we always know that there's someone there to support, no matter how small or minor details that we need. A lot of the businesses that do start up individually, I would say in my area, only last approximately 6 months, whereas I've been running for 2.5 years, and it's growing and growing and growing. I enjoy being my own boss. I have nobody telling me what to do, when to do it. It's up to me if I make the mistakes, and it's for me to rectify them, for me to develop and for me to grow.
I definitely recommend franchise to anybody who's looking into starting and running their own business. It's not for everybody, it's very hard work, but it's very satisfying. And having the backing of a recognised brand and the support that you get with a franchise really does help you get off to a flying start.
I feel that the Creation Station is for me because, well, a few months ago I found myself in the position that both my children had gone to school and I needed to do something with the hours that I had before I had to pick them up. I didn't want to go back to work. I didn't want to work full time. I didn't want to commute. I didn't feel that was what I wanted for my family. And I started to look at franchising as an alternative to that. And I came to the Creation Station, or actually the Creation Station came to me via an email, and it just seemed like a perfect fit. I'm quite a creative person anyway. I make jewellery and have enjoyed being artistic in the past, and I sent for a discovery pack, and that came with a packet of pom-poms and sparkly things with it, which my son was desperate to get hold of, and that was absolutely what sold it. If he was like that, I just thought that's what I want to get involved in.
I think franchising is a great model for those businesses that can be replicated. It's all about systems, support and understanding your market, and you actually need to be very passionate and committed. For us, it's about children's imagination. So if you have a value in a brand that has potential to grow, there is a lot of scope for looking at the franchise model. The thing I love best about being a franchisor is supporting women to achieve the work-life balance that they want and inspiring the nation's imagination.
The important thing to realise in this is that a properly structured franchise only makes money when the franchisees themselves are successful. They won't have made money out of the initial setup, the initial fees. They will only be making real money when franchisees start doing real business with consumers. That's not going to be in the first year. A franchisor will only make real money out of a franchisee when they themselves are beginning to do real business with consumers. That's not going to be until probably year 2 and onwards. So a franchisor's interest is in making sure you're going to succeed. Every franchisee that fails before they've started making a real profit is going to be a franchisee that costs the franchisor money.
We'll be back after the break to find out more. Don't go away.
Choosing a plumber should never be a gamble. Call Drain Doctor, and it won't be.
Taking on a franchise is a big step, and one you should only take once you've thoroughly researched what's really involved. British Franchise Association accredited exhibitions are your perfect opportunity to speak with experts, hear from franchisers, and gain from free educational seminars. Visit thebfa.org for all upcoming exhibition dates and access to free tickets.
There's a national plumber that charges you the same rate with no call-out cost, day or night. Drain Doctor.
Discover a world where your child's imagination is inspired. Free to explore, discover, develop, share, play, create. Develop concentration, self-confidence, problem-solving skills. Release your child's potential with the Creation Station weekly art and crafts classes for 3 months to 11-year-olds. Celebrate their important day with a Creation Station Arty birthday party. Arts and crafts fun with party bags filled with their creations. Visit our website today to find your nearest centre.
The doctor will see you now.
Welcome back to part 2. Most households will need a plumber at some stage, but finding reputable tradesmen is not always easy. We recently spent a day with Drain Doctor, a renowned franchise that offers a 24-hour emergency plumbing or drainage service.
Drain Doctor is an emergency plumbing and drainage company who also repair drains and also give maintenance contracts in both drainage and plumbing to large companies. The original concept came from America. We also have offices throughout the UK, Ireland and indeed in Portugal. Our founder, Freddie Mittman, was looking for some period of time to find a company that he thought he could franchise. He went to America and found that vehicle in a company over there called Mr. Rooter, which is now Drain Doctor in the UK.
Drain Doctor is a plumbing and drainage franchise, but it's something a bit more than that. Many people have a dream. The dream is going into business on their own. They'd love to do it. They see their friends doing it. They see highly successful businesses out there. They think, wow, I should try that. But there is a challenge there because a lot of people are very good at what they do. They may be great plumbers, great artists, great graphic designers, and they're out there doing that job and they're doing it well. They think, I could take those skills and run a business. So if they try that, it often fails because they are not business people. They are plumbers, they are graphic designers, they are decorators. A franchisor or a franchise teaches experts in particular technical abilities to run a business. It's essential. That is what they are running, a business. And running a business, it doesn't matter what the goods or services are. It's the business that matters. There are rules to running a business. You can't just sit down, open a bank account, and wow, you're in business. So we teach how to run a business. Now, we have experts. We have experts in the technical side, and we teach that. We have experts in finance. We have experts in how to handle tax. We have experts in how to handle all aspects of running a business. And we can send these experts, be it marketing, be it personnel, out to help the franchisee over those particular hurdles, which his particular skill won't cover.
For a number of years, I was looking at setting up my own business. I got to the point in my last professional career where you get to a stage where you can't go any further. So I was looking for something with new challenges, and I felt comfortable sort of going with a franchise rather than setting up on my own.
Franchising gives you a system and a track to run on, which many small businesses when they start don't have. We already have integrity and things like that, and a lot of small businesses when they start from day one and have to obviously aspire to all of those things.
From day one, we went on this 2-week training course, which covered every aspect of the business, which was great. So you got a good understanding of how the business worked. And then from then on, it's every step of the way. I mean, we've got help with marketing, we deal with training, ongoing training. We've been doing some fairly large sort of contract negotiations, and they've been helping me with that. And not only that, you've got the franchise network as well to fall on. So there's lots of guys that have done lots of things in the past, made their mistakes, and they're there to help you all every step of the way. So for that reason, I mean, it just works brilliantly for me.
Franchising is a great opportunity because unfortunately we live in a time where many small businesses who start actually go out of business. In fact, I believe the statistics say that it's 60% in the first 2 to 3 years, and then if you think you're safe, you're not, because up to 5 years, another half of those again disappear. With franchising, after 10 years, 80% of all the businesses started are still in business.
Every day is different, which is what I love. I can't stand sort of repetitive sort of days, but it starts, I suppose, from the night before. We sort out the routes, get the technicians' routes organised, and then start the day 7 a.m. The guys go out, start doing their work with the customers. I liaise with our clients after we've done the jobs to make sure everyone's absolutely happy. And in between time, I'm dealing with administration, sort of focusing on customer sort of liaison and promoting the business. So every day is different. I sometimes get out on the van, but my role at the moment is more sort of back at the office, sort of controlling things from that side.
Any business that's worth its salt requires a great input from the incoming franchisee, or indeed a businessman who wants to really have that right spirit and build on our brand name, if you wish, and do the necessary marketing within his area. The British Franchise Association has always had a very ethical view of franchising. We wanted to form an ethical company and we wanted to share those views. So therefore, for us, it was a good place to go.
The British Franchise Association have a code of ethics which is second to none. And anyone coming into franchising wants to make sure the company they want to join is a member of the British Franchise Association. Full member preferably, because they've gone through all the stages to become a full member. But we work together with the British Franchise Association and we try and have our ethics be the equal at least of theirs.
The benefits of buying a branded model like we have is that I suppose we have sort of seen most of the glitches now. We have a system, it's very important to us, we work hard on that and we teach franchisees that very, very much. And we police that system quite heavily to ensure that everybody who joins us works hard on it as well. I think as well that franchisees now who join us almost get peer pressure from the rest of the franchise group to ensure that they do follow our systems, because I think many of the older franchisees would view any young whippersnapper coming along and sort of saying, wow, I'm going to change things, as a retrograde step to something that they've all helped to build as well. Most businesses from the outside look great, but they're not quite so good once you get into them, especially if you're alone. I think if you want to buy a franchise, if you want to start your own business, then probably have a good look around first, shortlist what you think is good for you, where you feel your skill sets are, but make sure that you pick a franchisor and a franchise that will give you that ongoing support. Not for the first week and take your money and walk away, but ongoing support, because there are many growth periods within franchising and within each franchisee that needs special help, and we pride ourselves on being able to do that.
We're just in the process of buying a second area, which bolts onto our existing patch, and things are looking very exciting. So we're expanding, we're growing the business, and we can't wait to set up some more challenges for us.
Franchising, as it's been shown in the United States, is probably the coming thing in industry. I think more and more and more in this country, people are looking towards franchises, and of course, many of the high street brands and restaurants and things like that now are indeed franchises, and I think we forget that. My final thoughts are, I think if anybody is looking for a business where they are still going to have to work hard, but they want some path to success, then franchising is probably the answer.
It's just worked out extremely well for us. I mean, we were looking for a business for a long, long time. We wanted to go down the franchise network. Took the plunge, and everything is there are ups and downs, but I've got to say we loved every minute of it, to be honest. And the beauty is the system is there, so all you need to concentrate on, you've got the backup. All you've got to concentrate on is building the business, developing the business, and getting it to where you want it to go to, and it's key as far as I'm concerned. There's no pitfalls as such, but you need to understand what you're buying into. And make the right decision. we looked at a number of franchises before I settled on Drain Doctor, and it's got to suit your personality and your ethos and everything else. And if I would just say do some due diligence and make sure it fits your personality and your lifestyle. If it does, then go for it.
People coming into franchising are not really entrepreneurs in the true sense of the word. They are people who would love to be in business and are willing to go into business if someone will hold their hand a little bit and help guide them through the early maze of running a business until they really get going on it.
You should take professional advice when you're looking at a franchise opportunity. You will need to make sure that there is nothing unusual or too onerous in a franchise agreement. You won't be given an opportunity to negotiate the franchise agreement because franchisors need all their franchisees on the same terms, otherwise the network will be unmanageable. But you do have the opportunity to say no, and you need to preserve your capacity to say no right through the process of identification and recruitment. And you need to keep that freedom to say no right until the point where your experienced franchise lawyer has said to you there's a problem with this agreement, or they've said there's no problem with this agreement. You need to understand what the commitments are, and a decent franchise lawyer will explain all that to you. And you also need to know that it's a good one and that you're okay to go ahead and sign on the dotted line. So that advice you'll definitely need. You may need the advice of an accountant that is experienced in franchising too. It all depends on the complexity of the business plan. But certainly, as you go through the process of being recruited into a franchise network, you will be responsible for developing your own business plan. This is your business, not the franchisor's, and you will be responsible for saying what income you think you'll generate and what costs are going to be associated with generating that income. It's you that provides a commitment to that. And at that point, you may need the advice of a professional accountant who's familiar with the franchised environment in order to give you some advice, your own advice, about what's going to be a deliverable business plan. So yes, professional advice is essential. But equally, your own capacity to go and look, not take on trust, to go and examine the business, to speak to existing franchisees is just as important.
We do hope that you've enjoyed today's show. Join us next week at the same time. See you then.